First step, university plus scholarship দুইটা আছে না কিনা. Second step, does the scholarship criteria meet your position or your situation, right? Then let's say it meets. Okay, very good. Now you need to look for the documentation / what are the requirements.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to another video from Bright Life Consultancy. আমি ফারহান ইশাক আহমেদ আজকে একটি নতুন ভিডিও নিয়ে এসেছি। ইউজুয়ালি আমরা যেটা করে থাকি এক একটা টপিক নিয়ে কথা বলে থাকি আমাদের ভিডিওগুলোতে, কিন্তু আজকের ভিডিওটি একটু ডিফারেন্ট। আমাদের যে ফেসবুক গ্রুপটি আছে অ্যাডমিশন অ্যান্ড স্কলারশিপ 360 ডিগ্রি, ওখানে আসলে আমরা একটা কোয়েশ্চেন করেছিলাম যে বাইরে যারা পড়তে যায় যেসব স্টুডেন্টসরা, তারা আসলে কোন ধরনের প্রবলেমগুলো ফেস করে, এবং ওই প্রশ্নের আন্ডারে কিছু অপশনস ছিল যেমন ফান্ডিং অ্যান্ড ফাইন্যান্সিং, স্কলারশিপ, ভিসা, অ্যাকোমোডেশন। তো ওখান থেকে আমরা একটি জরিপের মতো একটা করে থাকি, যে একটা পোল থাকে। সো সেখানে সবচেয়ে বেশি ভোট এসেছে আসলে ফান্ডিং অ্যান্ড ফাইন্যান্সিং, যেখানে সবচেয়ে বেশি ভোট এসেছে, এবং সেকেন্ড অপশনটি স্কলারশিপ। সো এই দুইটা বিষয় নিয়ে আজকের ভিডিওটি করা, এবং এইসব বিষয় নিয়ে কথা বলবে আমাদের স্কলারশিপ এক্সপার্ট রেদওয়ান হাসান। রেদওয়ান হাসান, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you, Farhan. It's been a while, in fact, I think, right?
Yeah.
We have spoken like about, at least a month or two ago. So good to see you. Healthy, and I hope everyone's doing well as well in Bangladesh. And based on the topic, I think it's a very, let's say, interesting. At the same time, it's a challenging issue to tackle for students, I believe, right? So let's face it. The truth is, majority of our students do not have, let's say, all the financial backup in order to study abroad, correct? Mm-hmm. So I would say 95%, 96% of the students manage some money, they go abroad and they hope to do some sort of part-time work or get scholarship and help them finance their education, right? Not everyone can finance it themselves. Having said that, I think it's very legit, the question being that how can we deal with this sort of challenges? There are some ways which I'm very happy to discuss today, and also give students some ideas regarding, what to really look, how to really plan ahead for this sort of challenge, and what can you expect.
So, আমার যে নেক্সট কোয়েশ্চেনটি থাকবে যে একটা স্টুডেন্ট যাওয়ার আগে সে আসলে কিভাবে প্ল্যানগুলো করবে, যে আমি এইভাবে আমার ফান্ডিংগুলো ম্যানেজ করতে পারবো, অথবা সে যাওয়ার পরেও কিভাবে অ্যাকচুয়ালি ম্যানেজ করতে পারবে, এবং ফান্ডিং এর সাথে আসলে হ্যান্ড ইন হ্যান্ড স্কলারশিপটাও যায়। সো সেটাও সে আসলে কিভাবে ম্যানেজ করতে পারে, অথবা স্কলারশিপ সে যদি নাও পায়, ওয়ার্স্ট কেস সিনারিও, তাহলে সে আসলে কিভাবে ফান্ডিংগুলো ম্যানেজ করবে।
রাইট। সো ফার্স্ট অফ অল আমার এখানে একটা ডিস্টিংশন করা দরকার, দ্য ডিস্টিংশন বিং funding and scholarship, correct? Generally, it means the same thing, correct? It's a waiver kind of thing that you don't have to pay a certain amount of tuition fees or living expenses. But normally, when you differentiate the ideas of funding and scholarship, funding ta hocche basically someone, let's say, gives you money to cover your expenses. So normally funding, it comes from the domain of research. So if professors have research money or a big fund, they give you salary from that. So that is one sort of, let's say, alignment we can have with funding. That is funding, someone giving you money from a particular fund. Scholarship being, it works as a burst or a waiver. The fact that you don't have to pay anything. You don't get anything, but you don't have to pay anything. That's the difference, right? So funding, you get something. Scholarship, you are exempted from paying. That's a very small difference, but I think students should first realize that there is a fundamental, difference among the definitions. That is important, because when you look for these opportunities, you need to be sure what you're looking for, right? Sometimes it could be that kono funding nai, but scholarships ache, but kono scholarships nai, but funding ache. So you see, it's mutually exclusive. Having said that, I think studentদের যেগুলি করা দরকার প্রথমে, before applying abroad, এবং I recommend, as a scholarship expert, I would recommend always looking for scholarships. Very important, because I understand that people cannot afford it. It's very normal, right, for our students. As a result, when you're looking for admissions, At the same time, আমি বলবো যে you should also look for scholarships in the same department, faculty, or the university in general. Okay? Look for these two things in the beginning. When you find your desired program, at the same time, when you find, let's say, a scholarship slash funding opportunity, that could be one of your shortlisted university for application. Very generic way of approaching it. Okay, it could be also, let's say, a way to discard universities that you don't want to look for. Maybe they have a good program, right? But they don't have any sort of funding or scholarship opportunities. In that case, maybe it's not a good idea because it can be very expensive, correct? So that's the first way of doing it. Look for opportunities if it's there. The second step is to understand if that scholarship opportunity slash funding opportunity applies to you. So there are many criteria, right? অনেকে বলতে পারে ঠিক আছে, this particular scholarship is only for students who study this particular programs A, B, C, D, E, not for the rest. Okay, it could be that okay, this is only for students from this particular countries, not the others. Okay, it's only for students who have this percentage grade and motivation letter and above, for example. So এই যে different criteria গুলো আছে, I think এটা আগে স্টুডেন্টদেরকে বুঝতে হবে. They need to grasp it, understand it, and see if all the criteria are met. Okay, even if two meets and one doesn't, you don't have a chance because they will pick students who meet all the criteria, obviously, right? So এটাকে খেয়াল করা দরকার. Okay, so again, quick revision. First step, university plus scholarship, দুইটা আছে না কিনা? Second step, does the scholarship criteria meet your position or your situation, right? Then let's say it meets. Okay, very good. Now you need to look for the documentation slash what are the requirements. So both the paraje, we need you to give us reference letter or leadership experience letter or work experience letter or a recommendation letter from a professor. It can be anything, any documentations. So it depends on the objective of the scholarship, really, right? So এমন হতে পারে যে if I'm just giving an example, হতে পারে যে একটা scholarship is only for students who are studying masters in engineering, right? তো ওখানে একটা requirement থাকতে পারে যে for this scholarship we need to see your final thesis project. What did you do in terms of engineering? Could happen, right? So এইসব যে specific criteria এগুলি address করতে হবে. You need to see if you meet them or not, right? That's the third step. Then let's say when you meet them as well, then you need to check the deadlines, right? The link, where you have to apply, do you have to email it, do you have to upload it, do you have to scan it, send it, what? So these technicalities needs to be taken care of at the final step. So basically 4 to 5 steps, very simple. And once you meet all of them, you know that you have found yourself a potential scholarship slash funding opportunity to apply for. That's the simple steps that I would say would be involved.
সো এখন এগুলাও যদি কোনো স্টুডেন্ট ম্যানেজ না করতে পারে, ফর এক্সাম্পল, সো সে যদি সেলফ ফান্ডেড দিকে যেতে চায়, সে নিজেই হয়তো ফান্ডিংই করবে, তো সেটার জন্য আসলে কিরকম অপরচুনিটিস আছে বাইরে, যেরকম যেসব কান্ট্রিজ যেগুলো আসলে হয়তো তাদের টিউশন ফিজ রেগুলার থেকে কম ফ্রম দ্য মেইন স্ট্রিম কান্ট্রিজ। যদি আমি ইউরোপের কথাই চিন্তা করি তাহলে সুইডেন অথবা সুইজারল্যান্ড অথবা যে এইসব মেইন স্ট্রিম কান্ট্রিজ গুলা থেকে আরো কি কান্ট্রিজ আছে যেগুলো আসলে কম টিউশন ফিজ অফার করছে, অথবা লোন কি একটা ওয়াইজ ডিসিশন হতে পারে যে তারা লোন নিতে পারে ওখানে যে?
Right. So, okay, here are a couple of things. First of all, when you want to look for funding opportunities, and let's say you don't find any, okay, there are other ways too. Let me address them first. The first way could be, okay, I take some amount of money with me, let's say for a semester or for a year, and the remaining you would want to, work part-time and cover it up. Okay, that's a good idea. Many students do it, but do remember that part-time work can depend on a lot of things: your fluency of the language, local language, right? You getting a job, how much is the payment, correct? How long can you work? What are the regulations, etc. So these needs to be taken care of. I think maybe we can make a video later on just talking about part-time jobs. But this is the idea that you need to address in the beginning, right? But always keep in mind that your objective is to study and get a degree. Your end goal is not to work part-time and make money, at least for the time being, right? So you need to make sure you have a good balance between your work, because that takes a lot of effort from a mental perspective, from a physical perspective, right? So make sure you can balance that with the stress and tension of your education. That's very important, right? Your education has to be prioritized above anything else because that's why you're going abroad, right? Not to work part-time jobs. So that's one. Then another opportunity could be that you can look for external scholarships. So many universities have a lot of partnerships with NGOs, with governments, with organizations, etc. So these, for example, opportunities could also be interesting. So I can give you many examples. Like there is a private funded scholarship by some individual, some alumni, who give a lot of money in terms of foundations, etc. So those are also given as scholarships. So look for them too. Don't look at the mainstream ones that the university has, but also look into, for example, the private/external scholarships. There has to be a link in every website. Go to it, check if it's there, and you follow the same 5 steps that I've mentioned earlier. Exactly the same thing. And then you know if the scholarship is for you or not, then you can apply or not. Okay, that's also one good source of getting scholarships. Okay, then another example or another way you can manage, let's say, your finances is basically going to a country that is cheap. Simple, right? So if you look at the mainstream countries in Europe, Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, right? Germany. Germany is an exception, but UK. These countries are quite expensive, to say the least, right? They're very expensive, and you need to have good amount of self-finance to actually go there and study, given you do not have a scholarship. So if that is your limitation, and that can be a limitation for many students, I would highly recommend look into countries that are cheaper. Simple. Because I think we made a video earlier, right, talking about 5 the most cheapest plus very good countries for education. I think those countries could be an example or an opportunity, right? Because not many students go there. You can be the one going there and making an impact on yourself in terms of career, good education, good results, good network, and maybe you might end up getting a good full-time job in the end, and get to stay there for the rest of your life, becoming a permanent citizen. Who knows, right? So there are opportunities in these least affordable countries, and that gives you, let's say, an opening apart from the mainstream ones. Okay, so I would also recommend that you need to be flexible in terms of mindset, where you want to go. You can do engineering in Sweden, of course. You can do engineering in Germany, of course. You can also do engineering in Lithuania or Estonia. They are good countries for engineering, for example. So this could be, I think this should be the mindset. You should always be flexible, because your plans that you make abroad or before coming abroad might not go as you plan them, right? So there will be changes, there will be challenges, there will be barriers, and you need to overcome them. So being flexible is the key. That I would say from my experience of being in Europe. That's pretty much it. I think apart from that, I think you can also, let's say, if you're looking to be self-financed student, if you do not want any sort of scholarship or you have the capacity to study abroad, I think then it's pretty straightforward. But then again, there is an extra, let's say, an opportunity that you can cover in terms of when you start your education at a university. Many institutions will give you the opportunity to apply for continuing scholarships. So what does that mean is that you start off your studies without any scholarship, you finish your first semester or second semester, you do very good grades, and they have this continuing scholarship for students who are already enrolled. Okay. And sometimes that can be a good amount, 50%, 60%, 100% even, right? So it depends on the university, but those opportunities do exist. And I would also recommend every student getting a scholarship or not, looking for it. When you go, try to work hard, focus on your studies, get good grades, and then apply for these continuing scholarships. That will at least help you cover some of your expenses.
Yeah.
So these would be my advices. So as you can see, it's not very hard. I mean, there are opportunities that you can pursue, right, to manage your finances, challenges in terms of money, and it's very obvious, as I've said. These things will come up, but there are also options that can help you let's say mitigate these challenges, and the ones that I've mentioned are some of them. Hopefully that really helps students out.
সো আশা করি আমাদের স্টুডেন্টদের এইসব প্রশ্নের উত্তরগুলো পেয়েছে, এবং যারা অ্যাকচুয়ালি বাইরে পড়তে যেতে চাচ্ছে সব প্রশ্নেরই হয়তো আমরা উত্তর দিতে পেরেছি। তবে এরপরেও যদি আরো কোয়েশ্চেন্স থাকে, আমাদের গ্রুপ তো আছেই, অ্যাডমিশন অ্যান্ড স্কলারশিপ 360 ডিগ্রি। এবং এই যে ভিডিওটি দেখছেন এটার নিচে আপনারা কমেন্ট করে জিজ্ঞেস করতে পারেন আপনাদের যদি আরো কোনো কোয়ারিজ অথবা কোনো কনফিউশন থাকে বা নেক্সট আপনারা কোন ভিডিওটা দেখতে চাচ্ছেন, কোন টপিকটার উপর ভিডিও করলে আপনাদের সুবিধা হবে, আপনাদের জানতে পারবেন আপনারা স্টাডি অ্যাব্রড নিয়ে। সো এইগুলা নিয়ে আপনারা কোয়েশ্চেন করুন এবং উইল বি রিয়েলি হ্যাপি টু অ্যান্সার দেম। সো আশা করি সবাই ভালো থাকবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন, এবং থ্যাংক ইউ রেদওয়ান ওয়ান্স অ্যাগেইন ফর answering all the questions and helping the students of Bangladesh who are dreaming of studying abroad.
Of course, I think it's our work to help students realize their dream, right? I mean, it's my passion. It's not just my work, but also my passion that I want to see students, especially from our countries, right? Be successful abroad. Having said that, I think the applications are coming up in October. I think Sweden, Germany, Norway are kind of, most of them are opening up. I would really recommend students to make a decision. If you need, speak to us. We're very happy to consult. And just if you're happy to work with us, if you think you can go the mile with us, we are very happy to work and help you. Maybe get an admission or a scholarship for next year. We'll try our best. And this is the time to make the decision and make the jump.
Okay. So আশা করি সবাই যারা অ্যাকচুয়ালি 2021-এ যেতে চাচ্ছেন তারা এখন থেকে আসলে প্রিপারেশনটা নিয়ে নেন। যেমন রেদওয়ান বলল যে এখন থেকে আসলে আপনাদের সব কিছু প্রিপারেশন শুরু করে ফেলতে হবে, বিকজ অ্যাপ্লিকেশন খুবই সুন স্টার্ট হতে যাচ্ছে। সো আশা করি সবাই ভালো থাকবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন, এবং যার যে কোয়েশ্চেন্স থাকে আমাদেরকে অবশ্যই জিজ্ঞেস করবেন, আমরা চেষ্টা করব উত্তর দেওয়ার। থ্যাংক ইউ রেদওয়ান। আল্লাহ হাফেজ, টেক কেয়ার।
Allah Hafiz, take care.